City of Oakridge, the Oregon Mayor and Council, boards,
We already have one meeting on.
commissions, committees, volunteers, and staff. Paul, for those of us that have already signed this, I would suggest that we sign it again. It's a
Yes.
new year.
Yeah, remember
I'm in a new position, you're not, but I
Yeah.
am.
But I think, remember last time we discussed something about this, I think we need to go back and verify that everybody has signed one.
Yeah, and so what we're gonna do is just, these are all new, they
Yeah,
haven't.
but not just us, I'm talking about, if this goes for all the employees and volunteers.
Yes, that's a different, but I don't want to postpone having council
No.
sign this, but you're right, thank you for the reminder
Yeah.
to make sure that, you know, commissions, committees, volunteers, and staff have all signed that too.
Yeah, we need to, record that so that everybody knows.
Okay,
So there's been discussion of making this an annual,
But once you sign it, it's supposed to be as voluntary.
Okay, once you
Why they
sign
really,
it.
why they really need to do it is because all the time I've been on the budget committee, I have yet to sign one of these.
Well, once you
Well, there you
sign
go.
one of them, you just sign
No,
it.
I know now, I'm talking about
Yeah, I know,
years
that's what I'm
in
saying,
the past.
that's why they say everybody's
Yes.
supposed to sign one, and I guarantee you
Okay,
that
so-
not everybody
so-
signed one.
so let's move on from discussing whether other people have signed it and make sure that we understand what we're signing. How
Yes.
many of you have not seen this before?
I read it all.
Tom?
I've seen it.
You've
All these
read, I
new
know you
applicants.
have, and but let's not worry about the new applicants, let's stick to just council for now. Bobby, you've read it, Stan, have you read this already?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
and Chrissy, have you read this? Do any of the council have any questions about this? Okay, so I am just going to read number 18. Everyone has the primary responsibility to assure that ethical standards are understood and met, and that the public can continue to have full confidence in the integrity of city government. This personal code of conduct shall be considered to be a summary of ethical conduct. And we are asked when we sign this to affirm that we have read, understood the personal code of conduct, ethics for the city of Oakridge, for the city of Oakridge, Oregon, mayor and council, boards, commissions, committees, volunteers, and staff. And we acknowledge that we may be removed from the appointed board, committee, or commission by the city council if the conduct falls below ethical standards. As a volunteer or staff member appointed by the city administrator or his or her designee, they acknowledge that they could be disciplined or removed from the position if conduct falls below these ethical standards. You will note that it does not say anything about city council members
It's because
because you can't.
well, because in the original one, when we get as counselors, we do the oath.
Right.
To abide by all this.
That's right. And so signing this, if it's termed that you didn't do it, council still cannot remove a counselor. So that's why that's missing, because I had someone ask me about that. So
You can't get rid of me?
I'm trying. No, I can't get rid of you according to this piece of paper. If you're comfortable and you are ready to sign this, I would suggest that you sign it and turn it into Susie before you leave, so that she has them on record. Make sure that you date them.
sign it.
Today is the 13th.
Do that?
I think you should sign it, I think we all
Today's the
should sign
seventh.
it.
Maybe I already did. You wanna look?
You signed it yesterday.
Show it to me.
See?
Wow, jeez.
One right back here.
And what is today, the 7th, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You don't know it, you just did an agenda? You didn't
My
know it?
head is like swimming, so I'm gonna pass these down and just pass them all the way down.
I think I made him mad at me or something.
Okay, good job.
Maybe
How are we doing? We have 15 minutes. Okay, so this last 15 minutes, we're gonna talk about the attorney selection process. So I have some questions here that Bobby put together. And I haven't checked my email. Did you get my email for
I got it right when I
Counselor
walked in.
Howard? You know, I am having a heck of a time with them. Maybe if you turned your signs so that I could see your last names. I
We need
make,
stickers.
you are welcome to correct me until I learn. And no, it's not fine, because it's one of the things that I think is important. But it's just hard for me to look up at you and not call you,
Have trouble calling me.
I call you lots of
See?
things. Okay, so, Chrissy, Counselor Hollett, did you get my email a little bit
I
earlier?
did, I got it right before I came
Okay,
in here, but
okay.
I actually have some, appointments next week to go into the attorney's offices
Okay,
tomorrow.
okay.
I mean, I'm sorry, not tomorrow, next week,
Okay,
so if
Good.
another two counselors wanna join me, that would be, sure, okay,
Okay.
go on.
so I'll let you guys coordinate that.
I'll send an email out with the appointments to everybody and then
That sounds
they
good.
know when I'm going, so they can join me.
I'll be in Salem one day and in Eugene I'm meetings all day on another one, so. But if it's a Monday,
I'll take lots of notes and
Okay.
do that.
And so these questions that I have here that Bobby put together, I shared with the Counselor Whitney put together,
Oh.
and I shared with Counselor Hollett, our reference questions. So, Counselor Hollett and Counselor Whitney are going to, and I are going to split up the reference question checks, okay? So that you know that. Do you want me to read the questions? Does anybody care? I mean, you're okay with that? Don, you care. I can tell it. I can tell. Okay. What do you think of when you hear the word Oakridge? How do you see yourself representing Oakridge? Have any of your attorneys worked as a court clerk in Blaine County Circuit Court or in the local federal court? If so, which judge did he or she work under and under what areas of the law? Do you regularly track federal, state, and county legislative and local law changes? And if so, how do you do this? When tracking changes, what is your primary focus? How would you communicate any changes with your client? If there's a law change that impacts a city, do you follow up with the municipality you serve and make sure they are adequately addressing any needs or changes within their city? How would you bill this? These are the questions that I got from Counselor Whitney.
so in case you're wondering, I saw you start the question, so the one about the court clerk, I think it's really important to know if any of their staff or attorneys have worked as court clerks,
But I think-
specifically in Lane County, because when you have somebody that's worked under judges in Lane County, they've networked within our current area.
Right, but most all them attorneys were asked that day when we had the meetings with them. weren't
But
they?
they were asked it, but I think it's important to ask it again, because it didn't get very specific.
Well, actually, they did. They actually
I
said
thought
who
it
they
was really
clerked to.
good.
They didn't really say which judge and what,
Yeah, they did.
what law it was
If they
under.
clerked, they said the judge name.
But I'm looking for what areas of the law too.
What
they
areas of law?
clerked
Okay,
under.
okay, all right.
I
That's
think
fine.
that's important to
Okay,
know, because if they say, oh, it's family law, okay.
okay.
Yeah.
Did you review all the stuff they did?
I've looked
'Cause
at
what
it.
the lady said, the attorney said tonight, that was in one of them, exactly what took place.
Counselor Hollett, will you send me any questions that you
Yeah, I
have
have
added to
some
this,
more,
and we'll
yeah.
combine them, so we're all asking the same questions, reference questions? And then, can we just, if we get the, okay, we're gonna have to have discussion. I was thinking we could just send each other what the answers were, but it's not gonna be that easy. We're gonna have to actually talk about it, aren't we? I see one head nodding.
It might be interesting to put it into like, to have a list of questions and then like an Excel sheet of some sort where you have the list of questions and you have each attorney listed and kind of how they each answered the questions, so you can easily compare.
Yeah? What do you think?
It's just a thought.
I was actually thinking about doing a presentation for maybe our next meeting, and when I go to the offices, actually go to them, I could take some pictures and maybe bring back a little bit more information to add to it, and then combine it with, those questions that we're talking about,
It's a good
so that
idea.
the public can see.
That's a good
Great
idea.
idea.
In fact, Mr. Hadley thinks it's a great idea. Got it. Thank
Yeah.
you, Counselor Hollett.
Counselor Hadley.
Thank you, Counselor Hadley.
How many knowledge, Tom?
Can we, oh, I'm sorry, Dawn.
It's
I'll do
okay.
this way.
I'm a little confused. I thought you said you were calling references.
I am.
So doesn't that mean you would be calling other people that are using those same attorneys and asking them what their opinions of that attorney is? Or are you actually calling the attorneys that
We
you're
are calling them
interviewing?
references, you are right.
She is right.
You are very right.
So,
Bobby, these are great questions. I mean, Counselor Whitney.
I mean,
they're
they're-
questions, but they're not questions that we need to use to call on references.
No, I thought these were for when we went to visit.
Oh, well, see, you and I were on a different page. Okay, so these are great questions for you guys. Go for it, go for it.
I will be use those questions.
yeah, and then references would be different.
Yes, references would be different, and that's what I'm hoping to do the calling on, is references. Just to see how they performed,
Don't mention my name.
what they do. Oh, I want good references, so I'm not gonna mention. Okay. Do you have any other questions? Oh, upcoming meetings and events. Let's see, so we know we're meeting on the 13th,
Yep, 21st,
okay, and then the 21st.
first.
Next week, Wednesday. Hold on, let me make sure I say this right. Next week, Wednesday, I will again be starting Coffee with the Mayor at Lion Mountain Bakery at 9 a.m. to 11 a.m.
Who's the mayor?
Whoever she is will be there. And I'm just reminding counselors
Does
that,
that mean you're buying?
no, I am not buying, as a matter of fact, and nor am I buying anybody their coffee. If anyone wants to come and chat, I will remind counselors you are not invited. Because I don't need a quorum showing up. Yes.
Next, the 21st, we're appointing a new counselor. Can you let us know how you are planning to do that voting
Okay.
selection process?
Yes.
So that we have a heads up.
Absolutely, absolutely, and it'll be a little bit cleaner, but it will be very similar to what we did before, so it will be a ballot process. So that it will be open to the public, they will know who voted for whom, but
So
we
for
will
ballot-
vote, send it, they will tally it and read out loud, you know, so-and-so had so many votes, and these counselors voted for this person. So-and-so had so many votes, these counselors voted for this person, so that it is completely transparent to the public who voted for whom, because that's important, obviously. So, okay. Yes.
Are you doing a points system on that, or is it just gonna
Point
be?
system. We only have one, so you'll have a list of the people and you'll put a check and sign the bottom that says, this is your name. We'll send them over to the table, staff table, they'll tally and say, okay, look, this person got the most votes. And, every counselor's vote will be announced, whether that person won or didn't win. That way it is completely transparent.
So on something like that, you don't have to have a quorum?
What? Well, we're a quorum.
I mean, what I mean is, the person that's selected doesn't have to have a quorum
Have a
of
quorum
votes?
of vote? I don't believe so. Not for an appointment.
Okay.
But having raised the question, I will make sure that is not the case. 5 minutes to 9, anything else?
Yeah, it's a half an hour past my bedtime.
Thank you. Thank you all for participating and for your comments. Stan, don't forget to check in and we'll talk about when we're driving up. One more thing.
There's a rain meeting next Wednesday at the RV, the Casey's RV.
Yes, there is.
Anybody interested in attending that, should try to be there. It's at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, they actually had a get together tonight, didn't they?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we came from there.
At the distillery. Okay, cool. All right, thank you. Meeting's adjourned. What is your copy saying again?